not the fact.
But
and the American people could have known that within days, and they didn't know that.
With all due respect, the fact is we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make? It is our job to figure out what happened and do everything we can to prevent it from ever happening again, Senator. Now,
all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. That, of course, was Hillary Clinton at the Benghazi hearings when she testified before a Senate committee, and the infamous "what difference does it make" quote, video, soundbite, which is going to haunt her throughout her campaign as president if she decides to run, I believe. And, of course, the New York Times coming out with a story on Monday, or over the weekend, actually, saying, guess what? It was the video. Guess what? It wasn't Al-Qaeda. And many believe, including Peter King, who was on this show, told us that he believes the New York Times was doing this to help Hillary in her run. Joining us right now, once again, is Patricia Smith, the mother of U.S. Foreign Service Officer Sean Smith, one of the 4 men killed in Benghazi on that horrific day, 9/11 in 2012. And Patricia, welcome back, and I wish you as happy a new year as you could possibly have under the circumstances.
Thank you.
All right. What did you think when you saw the New York Times story basically saying that they investigated and they found that it was not Al-Qaeda, and they found that, in fact, the video played a part in this whole thing again?
Oh, phooey. Everybody knows that that is not true. And how can Hillary sit up there and say, what difference does it make, when she is the person that made the difference? She is the one that would not allow any security there. She was the one that was responsible. I'll tell you what difference it makes. It makes a big difference.
Do you believe that she was responsible for your son's death?
Absolutely, without a doubt. You see, the State Department have told me absolutely nothing. They tell me the only thing, well, I take that back. They do tell me something. They tell me that I'm not a member of the immediate family, so I do not deserve to know. Everything that I have found out, I have had to find out on my own, because the State Department doesn't like mothers.
Well, I know that you were not given plane fare back and forth to attend a service, and they said you were an immediate family. I know we talked about that in the last time we had an interview, but I am curious here. Why do you think the New York Times wrote this story?
No. Well, wait. What was Hillary before she was a State Department person? She was from New York. Is that not correct?
She was a senator from New York State. Yes.
Okay, well, I would assume, again, because I don't know any better, but I would assume that that has a lot to do with it.
In what regard? How?
Because she's been bought and paid for a long time ago.
Okay, so you mean the New York Times? So that's what you're saying, the relationship between herself and the New York Times was forged a long time ago? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, yes, that's correct, but I don't say that that's the entire reason for everything. I just say that they were best buddies way back when, and so they're going to be best buddies now.
So do you believe, as Peter King and others have speculated, that the New York Times did this to provide cover for her presidential run?
Well, very possibly. Very possibly. That woman should not be president. She does not make good decisions. She makes terrible decisions. I don't like the one she made for my son. But what I do want to stress one thing. My son chose this life. He was very thrilled and happy to be part of this existence. But he also expected security. And he also expected someone to have his back, because he's told me so. And that didn't happen. So how could she go off on something entirely different and say it's different? I don't understand it.
Do you believe? I mean, you at first, I think, put most of the blame on President Obama, if I'm not mistaken. Tell me why you blame Hillary more so.
I say they're both at fault. But the president, because he is the president, and he should have known. Hillary, because she should have known. It was her department. It was her thing. if it wasn't those two, who else could it have been? Besides, Obama has been running and hiding all this time because he's got his own agendas. He doesn't want to talk Benghazi. My son was killed there. Okay, he was killed there. I'm sorry about that. He's gone. Nothing could be done. But other people are out there. Other people are being just thrown to the wolves because of somebody's political ambition. And that's what it is. It's political ambition only.
We're talking to Patricia Smith, the mother of U.S. Foreign Service Officer Sean Smith, who was one of the 4 Americans killed in Benghazi back on 9/11/2012 here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Do you believe that Hillary Clinton killed your son?
Yes. Is that fast enough for you?
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to know. Have you communicated with any of the other parents involved of the 4? Any other families involved of the 4?
I've communicated with several of them, but not very much.
And you go back to the time when I believe when the bodies came back in the flag draped coffins. And did Hillary say anything to you at that point? Yes,
she hugged me. She looked me right in the eye, and she says it was the video.
Yeah.
And that she would double. I said, I've got to know what happened. I said, if it's so secret, tell me behind closed doors, but just tell me so I know. And nobody ever did.
And that's about it. And that's it. Do you believe when she testifies, as she did, as you heard at the end of that soundbite, we need to make sure it never happens again and get to the bottom of it? When the president says they're going to hunt down and find who did it, do you believe that they'll ever bring to justice anybody responsible as far as who the attackers were?
I don't know. That's not my area. I would hope that my government was doing everything that it could possibly do to find out. So far, I've seen nothing that tells me that they found out anything or that they've done anything. All they do is walk around and give speeches.
If Hillary does run for president, will you actively campaign against her?
I will stand up right on the stage next to her and laugh at her. I don't know. Maybe not laugh, but I would stand up there and tell the world as it really is what she did. What she did to our children. She knew what was happening.
You mean by denying them security, correct? Is that what you're referring to?
That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah. Listen.
Plus, I've heard a lot of other things that I can't prove, like she was watching the drones go in there and all that sort of stuff. I can't prove anything like that, so I can't say. But I've heard that. I've heard it from a lot of. I wish I did know what happened. Why can't somebody just tell me, and I'll go away? I just want to know what happened to my son, and somebody to admit to what happened. Just to admit it, say, I goofed up. I'm sorry. I made a big mistake. But nobody's done that. So therefore, it's going to happen again and again and again, and to your sons and your daughters and everything like that, because nobody cares enough to do anything about it.
Patricia,
so I'm doing what I can.
Patricia, I know your son is looking down on you, and he's proud of you. And I pray to God that we all get the answers, and you get the answers that make it easier for you to go on. And thank you for taking the time to be with us, and we'll talk to you again.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Keep it in there. Keep it up there.
We will. Patricia Smith, ladies and gentlemen, mother of Sean Smith, U.S. Foreign Service officer, of course, one of the 4 killed in Benghazi. Your heart breaks. Your heart breaks. For this woman who can't get an answer and now sees excuses made for the woman that she says killed her son. Killed her son. I just know they're going to carry that around, that New York Times report. Every media outlet, anytime a Republican brings it up from now on, oh, New York Times investigated. Sorry, nothing there. Oh, this is over. This is done. Can't bring it up in a debate. Can't bring it up to Hillary. No, it's over. It's all over. Sorry. And that's disgraceful. That is really very, very disgraceful. All right, folks. We are coming back. We'll be joined by Kendall Coffey as we go spinning the law. We're going to speak to Adi Schwartz, former senior editor for Haaretz newspaper in Israel, about Christians in Israel, and Christians now identifying with the Jews in Israel and getting closer to them. A fabulous story. We also have much more ahead right here on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.